It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Pride and Prejudice, baby. Hello, my name is Molly, and I am a fan of The Brick. Today, we're talking about British literature, specifically Pride and Prejudice. And don't worry, I won't attempt a British accent throughout this whole video, even though I have been watching a lot of Call the Midwife lately. As a Pride and Prejudice fan, I wanted to make Pride and Prejudice Lego! The first one I did for show was this little brickheads of Elizabeth Bennet. As you can see, she's got on a white dress with the high waist of the time period, the Regency period dress, with the sleeves and short hair kind of curled, pulled up in a high-fashioned do. Little bow in the back. And I got a little brick made of her, Elizabeth Bennet, because I figured a lot of people just looking at this would maybe not know who it was. So, labels, yay! And someday I hope to make a Mr. Darcy and the other characters. So way back, like 7 years ago, I did an Anne of Green Gables Lego read-through, where I took pictures of minifigs that were in the scenes of Anne of Green Gables, and I put that with the text. And you can read that. It's at anneofgreenbrickgables.blogspot.com. But after I did that, I took a break, and then I was like, you know what? I really want to do one for Pride and Prejudice. Only for Pride and Prejudice, it was actually a lot harder, because they don't really make Regency clothes for Lego minifigs. I mean, they haven't been that kind with historical clothing at all. They have queens and princesses and things from like way back, and they have some Western wear, which is kind of the wrong continent and time period anyway. So, but when I did Anne of Green Gables, I was kind of able to wing it using just sort of like peasant costumes, some things from Harry Potter. But for Pride and Prejudice, it was a little bit tougher. So I want to show you some of the characters I have come up with. And whether or not I ever actually do something with these, it remains to be seen, because it would be a huge undertaking to make, you know, even if I just made, like, false exteriors of Netherfield and Rosings and Longbourn and, of course, Pemberley, it just seems like it's going to be a lot. But, hey, first step is accomplished. I do have the characters. For starters, we have our two main characters, Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. And since they're the main characters, I have several different outfits for each of them, and several different facial expressions. Over here we have Jane Bennet, and also I have a few outfits for her. This is her everyday wear. It's kind of fancy, so I might change that. And then this is her ball gown. Over here we have Mr. Bingley. Perpetual smile on his face, because he's just always happy. Here we have the Bingley sisters, Caroline and Louisa, looking quite snobbish. This is Georgiana Darcy, with a couple of different faces. Here we have members of the British Regiment, Colonel Forster, and, of course, the most infamous of all the men in the militia, Mr. Wickham. Mary King, she's not that important, but there she is. And then we have the Bennet family back here, Mary Bennet, Lydia Bennet, and Kitty Bennet. And back here we have Mrs. Bennet. She's in her full state of And Mr. Bennet, got a couple different heads for him. We've got his happy face and his sad face. This is Mr. Collins, and I don't know if this is what I picture Mr. Collins looking like, but I just wanted to find a guy with a really doopy face, and this sort of just worked. So we'll go with him for now. Next we have Charlotte Lucas, as well as her entire family. Not that some members of her family aren't as important, but over here we have Elizabeth's aunt and uncle, and one of their children, I might make more, the Gardeners. Here is Lady Catherine de Bourgh, with the most, stuck-up face I could find. And the rest of the folks you see in the back here are going to be, maids or butlers or just people at the balls, and basically extras at this point. So there's a few characters I haven't made yet. I'll probably assign those roles if I ever get farther along in this. Someone once asked me, and that was me, I asked myself. I said, Molly, who is the most reprehensible character in all of Jane Austen? And there are some characters in Sense and Sensibility that are just awful. And there are a few in Pride and Prejudice, but she kind of makes them more palatable in this book. People like Mrs. Bennet is completely off her rocker. Mr. Bennet is on his rocker, but he also chooses to fall asleep in it a lot, metaphorically speaking. And also Caroline Bingley, who is a total bully, but kind of in a sad way. So the other character that everybody hates, two characters actually, Mr. Wickham, because he preys on young girls and tries to take their money. He tries to take, spoiler alert, Miss Darcy's money and Mary King's money. And then he goes for Lydia, but not for her money. Of course, nobody feels too bad for Lydia because she's also super terrible. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and perhaps it will inspire you to make your favorite literary masterpiece into some sort of art form, whatever that may be. In the meantime, please subscribe. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter as Mo Makes Stuff Up. Bye!